I too have been here 23 years. And it is a reminder, I've been here when it was glory hole days, and I've been here when it wasn't. And so having said that, I want me some glory hole.
What? You keep using the word. I do not think it means what you think it means.
And now, it's time for another episode of the 12-Man Fan Jam Show. A show made by 12s from around the world, for 12s around the world. I'm Mosette, and here is your host and my dad, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity.
Yes, thank you, Mosette, and welcome to episode 609, the Cowboy edition of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show as your Seattle Seahawks get ready to take on those Dallas Cowboys. And what can I tell you? There is truly no place like home, and I certainly hope there's no place like home on Sunday. So glad to be back for our 134th episode of this show. 134th episode. We're going to keep doing it until we get it right. That's what she said. But meanwhile, let's meet our posse for this episode. Of course, there is our news hound, Will. Hi, Will.
Hi, Moses. How are you?
Wonderful. How are you, sir?
Doing well. Got myself a new car, so I can actually get where I'm going now.
The Willmobile. Very nice. How's it running?
So far, so good.
Good. Congratulations. You cat taking a ride yet?
No.
Not that you know of. At night, she probably grabs the keys and takes off, but we won't go into that right now. Never trust a cat, Will. That's all I'm saying.
I know. I live with one. I know that.
Right? You know that. Someone we can trust, though, is, of course, our friend Dustin. Hi, Dustin.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Wonderful. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'll tell you what, the floors that we put in last week, the carpet upstairs is phenomenal. We put in one of those really thick pads.
Yes. Man,
it's like walking on feathers. It feels so nice up there on your feet.
It's like walking on sunshine a little bit.
Yeah.
And don't it feel good?
Katrina waves, everybody. Well, awesome. Congratulations on your new floor.
Love it.
And of course, someone who is always floored, our friend behind enemy lines, and that is Statsman Mark. Hi, Mark.
Hello, everybody.
How are you, sir?
You nearly triggered a panic attack, Moses, with that walking on sunshine reference.
Whoa.
I did get a text earlier, and he asked me if I'm going to our 30th high school reunion, and I said, nah. I can't do those things with Diet Coke only, so I'm going to skip it. So,
good call. Hey, you said something earlier about the game this weekend. You want to share with everybody? The first thing you said when you joined us.
My off the cuff, which is now of course rehearsed. But yes, I did comment earlier on recording, but not with the show. Now Earl Thomas is very giddy because he gets to play his favorite team this weekend. So that's it. Yeah. Thank you.
More of that later. But anyway,
no, we love Earl Thomas.
Or does
we do. Or does dun dun da. Sadly.
Do they make cowboy underoos his size?
I don't want to know. Hey,
sorry.
Sadly, the yin to my yang, Matt from Merry Old England, cannot be with us for this show. He was Baker Mayfield's Uber driver after Thursday night's game, and no one's seen him since. So I don't know. He's somewhere in Cleveland, I guess. Gentlemen, let's get to the show, shall we, Fergie?
Let's get it started in here.
Yes, if you're just joining us, this show is run just like an NFL football game. We have 4 quarters and a halftime. In quarter one, will catch us up on all the news. Quarter two, we will briefly recap the last week's game against the Chicago Bears. And if you didn't know, Khalil Mack apparently is on the Chicago Bears. Who knew? At halftime, the best Seahawk-themed play-along game on the internet, 12-Man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia.
Of the world.
Of the world. Dustin is a repeating champ, I believe. Are you not? No. You're going for the repeat.
Either or, I'm cool with it.
Either or, you're cool with it, yeah. With no Matt tonight, so Matt will say this doesn't count. But it does count. And of course, quarter three will give you all the Cowboys info, including a special edition of Say What, where I share some of the most memorable quotes by Jerry Jones. That's going to be fun. And in quarter four, we put all our information together and we make our predictions, prognostications, and game balls for this Sunday's game between the Seattle Seahawks and the Dallas Cowboys. Before we start, please like, share, subscribe to the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel or join our Facebook group, 12-Man Fan Jam Show. We have a great game day thread on there. We're also on Twitter at Seahawk Positivity. email 12manfanjamshow@gmail.com. Look for our downloadable podcast of this very show on iTunes and Podbean. And now let's get to the first quarter and news. Yes, news from around the NFL with our news hound Will, brought to you by this week's sponsor, the Khalil Mack drinking game. Did you know Khalil Mack was on the Bears? Watch a game of the Bears on national television and drink every time the national broadcasters bring him up. I guarantee you'll be drunk by halftime. Hey, Will, what do you got for us?
Well, Moses, receiver Jordan Matthews only spent 1 year in Buffalo and really wasn't a good one. Ended up on injured reserve. But he says he loves his time in Buffalo for a very specific reason. Via Les Bowen of the Philadelphia Daily News, Matthews said that, quote, "I loved Buffalo because there wasn't anything to do there but each other." Sure enough, after being traded to the Bills last spring, Matthews married professional soccer player Chana Williams, I think it is.
Professional soccer player. Oh, okay.
Yeah, she plays for the Washington Spirit.
Okay.
And Matthews was true to his word as Williams became pregnant last year and recently gave birth. So,
at least that's who he was talking about.
credit Jordan Matthews because he made the best of his time in Buffalo.
Wow, and Niagara Falls is a big honeymoon spot, and that's near Buffalo, right?
Yeah, pretty close.
Yeah, so there you go. Wow, that dude, I love the line. There's not do Buffalo except each other.
Dennis, that's about the only afternoon delight going on in Buffalo. It certainly isn't that team.
So
you think they have great wings there, but who knows?
Yeah. So when Vontae Davis retired at halftime, was he just like looking for something new, or?
I don't know.
No. Well, unlike Matthews, Davis wasn't scoring in Buffalo, so he said, "Okay, I'm out."
All right. Man, congratulations to Matthews, soccer player. Well done. All right, Will, what else you got for us?
Well, Moses, have you ever tried one of those sports betting sites, FanDuel or DraftKings.com, any of those?
I'm familiar of them, but I have never done them.
Well, a fan in New Jersey,
you're not in Buffalo.
No, right.
A fan in New Jersey had an interesting experience with FanDuel last week when they inadvertently listed the odds of the Broncos beating the Raiders at 750 to 1. This fan, who was not born yesterday, put in a $110 bet. The Broncos won, of course, which means FanDuel should have paid him $82,500. However, when he went to collect, they offered him $500 in skybox seats for 3 Giants games, and a FanDuel employee apparently told him he was lucky to get even that. Quote, the other guy said, "You should take what we give you because we don't have to give you anything at all."
Dang!
I said, wow, for real? Well, to their credit, and probably due to the bad publicity, FanDuel has since reversed course, saying that, quote, "We are paying out these erroneous tickets and wish the lucky customers well. Going forward, we are working with the New Jersey Division of Gaming Enforcement to improve our processes and procedures." So, in other words, if it happens again, you're getting squat.
And we're working with the Corleone family to make sure this never happens again, basically.
Yeah, wow. I wonder if this Broncos fan in New Jersey might find himself disappeared.
Sleepy with the fishes, yeah.
He'll be eating onion rings in a diner and look up and everything will fade to black.
Mark, you are
My Sopranos reference.
Yes, Mark, you tend to talk a little bit about this in your numbers section. Are you worried at all that Guido, the killer bookie's going to come find you?
Oh, I don't. I'm on time, so all my digits and arms and hands are intact. But I love that the guy spotted that. I wonder though, if he had to have thought, I know this is a goof on their part. I'll just take advantage and see what happens. But I love that again. What was it? 3 tickets for the Giants skybox seats.
Yeah,
that was a surprise.
Yeah, I mean, what kind of that's like the game board version of the game show that you just lost on. I mean, that's just not much of a gift,
Seriously, you don't give him the money that he's earned, and then you punish him even more by making him go to Giants games.
Insult him with that.
The game board of the show you just lost on that is beautiful, my friend.
Yeah,
That was a great line.
Isn't that, you imagine Dad just drinking at home after, just flips the board and
It's got this lousy home game.
And what's great too is that I think Family Feud still only gives away $10,000. Now, in 1972, that was a nice little bit of change, but now it doesn't even pay off your credit card.
Ooh, $10,000! It costs more to get here. Why are we doing that?
It's just, or maybe 20, but still
nice.
Well, I'd take it.
Yeah. So I guess the lesson there is, be careful if you're a betting place. I don't know. Thank you, Will, so much for the news stories. Appreciate it as always.
Anytime, Moses.
There is one story that I'd like to share that you did not bring up, and I think it's rather important because the Super Bowl is what we're all going for, and there's nothing better than when the announcement's made of the halftime show. And, well, the announcement was made this week, much to the excitement of the NFL.
Young girls everywhere.
Maroon 5 is going to do halftime, everybody. Maroon 5! Get excited?
Is this where we're supposed to clap?
I don't know.
I'm scheduling my halftime beer run as we speak.
The best thing Adam Levine ever did was get killed in American Horror Story. I'm just going to say it right now. First episode, Asylum, he gets killed. It's awesome. This is what we're going to be having at halftime, folks. Get ready.
Maybe you'll have Blake Shelton and Christina Aguilera on it with him. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, this is not painful at all.
At least
Getting
in our
harder to
Super
breathe.
Bowls, we had the Rolling Stones, Bruno Mars, which wasn't half bad.
Right.
Bruno Mars was awesome.
Yeah.
And Left Shark. So.
You're right, Left Shark.
I was there for Left Shark. Best part of the Super Bowl, I think.
Mark, you okay? Do you need to lay down a little bit?
I was just thinking if Maroon 5 is a wardrobe malfunction, I'm going to lose my pork rinds. So the veteran.
We all will, Mark.
On that note, for Mark's sake, let's take a quick break.
It's the end of the first quarter, bitches.
Okay, that is the end of the first quarter. Coming up on this Cowboy edition of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show, halftime trivia, weather, fashion, real strange Jerry Jones quotes, injuries, numbers galore. But coming up, we take a look back at Sunday's loss against the Bears. We'll be right back after this.
You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show, a Seahawk Positivity production.
I like it!
Holy shit, it's the second quarter.
Mark, are you okay after Maroon 5, man? You going to make it?
I
Okay?
think so, yes.
Okay, good. Okay, well.
Do you need to lie down, Mark? I mean.
He just worked up because all those moves like Jagger, I guarantee.
Yeah, I guarantee it. Hey, welcome back to the second quarter of episode 609 of the 12-Man Fan Jam Show. We're just checking on stats, man. Mark, you got a little queasy there with the announcement of Maroon 5 playing halftime of the Super Bowl.
Didn't we all? And
unfortunately, we, in the second quarter, this is when in the show we talk about the game from the week before, of course, the 24-17 loss of the Seahawks to the Chicago Bears. And, gosh, guys, I don't know what to tell you. It was National Spotlight. It was another road game. Dustin, what are your thoughts about this game?
You guys know Khalil Mack was on the Bears?
No.
Yeah.
What?
I just found out a lot on Monday.
I tell you what, I bet even Bears fans were tired of hearing it.
Yeah.
No, probably not.
But I think the worst thing that they did on Monday night, aside from what the Seahawks did on offense, was probably that whole Avengers thing. That was a big spoiler for people that haven't seen the movie yet. So ridiculous.
So that was your big critique, was the Avengers thing.
Yeah, apparently John Snyder snapped his finger and half the team turned to ash. So.
Oh, okay. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was an.
Now I remember. The little graphic they had.
The little graphic, yes.
It was, yeah. They showed all the defensive guys just fading to ash.
Hey, Dustin.
Yeah.
What about the game?
Oh, yeah. There was a game.
There was, yeah.
Basically, what I took away from that is that I know we went against Von Miller and Khalil Mack, but I'm firmly of the opinion now that it doesn't matter who's lined up opposite of Fetty. That person is going to be the best pass rusher on that team. They can line up the third string quarterback aside against the Fetty, and he will be their best pass rusher that game.
I think you're right.
That's what's going to happen. That's a
real
huge hole that
concern.
needs fixed.
And this is a concern that's been lasting longer than a season, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's more of the same.
Yeah.
It's not been addressed. It's not fixed. They're not even giving him help. They left him one-on-one with Khalil Mack way too much.
Mm-hmm.
They got to figure something out. They got to get it done because they're not going anywhere if they don't.
Yeah, and that's a big issue. But, you know, and I'll pass it on to Mark here. But, Mark, I tell you what, in that second half, you know, that defense is missing all those players. No Wagner, no KJ Wright, no this, no that. They fought with a lot of heart, didn't they? The defense?
They did. I mean, it was another. Well, this game, the Denver game overall was fine. This game was just so strange, and of course health is a big issue. But wow, I don't know, the pick six and just all the stuff and confetti, right? Getting blown up, right? See that? Just like Dustin said, I mean, Khalil Mack, it was just like it was like watching. It was just like a Madden game where the player's just being controlled and somebody's just weaving through and creating havoc.
It's big brothered by everybody.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we call. That's what I've always called it when the big brother's picking on little brother, knocks him on his ass, runs by him. That's what's happened to Fetty. He's getting big brothered by everybody
constantly. And
despite everything, they were within a score. And then I did read an article where was it Prince, and I can't even pronounce his last name.
Amukamara.
Recognized the formation, the play. He played off like he normally does to kind of bait Wilson, and boom. I mean, it just the replay. It looked. I just don't see how he didn't see him. Anyway. Yeah. I know.
That was another thing that bugged me too. They kept playing up. He hasn't had an interception since second grade, and he has a pick six, and they keep talking about how he hasn't had one in so long, and now's the time to do it. That was annoying.
Well, I have a friend who's a Viking fan who texted me and said, feels like you're down 21 points, but you're only down 10. And I think that's why I felt for most of the game. As bad as it was, we're onside kicking at the end of the game with a chance to even still tie this thing up.
Well, you've got a quarterback like Russell Wilson. You've got a chance to win the game. But you're looking at Wilson and and part of it's the offensive line, obviously, and part of it's the play calling. I'm not impressed with Schottenheimer. I don't think anybody should be. Part of it is this whole weird thing with Chris Carson all of a sudden getting pulled out of the game for, he's gassed because he's on special teams. Oh, wait, he's not. And that just strikes me as something going on behind the scenes that Pete Carroll is trying to take the blame for to smooth over. So keep an eye on that. I don't know. But Wilson, one problem Wilson has always had is he doesn't often throw receivers open. And he has the ability to do that. We saw that on Lockett's touchdown. He had no separation on that play.
Yeah.
And Wilson just threw a perfect pass, got it in there and
Absolutely.
scored. But our receivers aren't getting great separation. Wilson's got to throw them open. And obviously, the pass rush is coming. We're not calling any plays or any formations to mitigate the pass rush. And there's a lot of things we could be doing.
Right.
So, okay. Wilson's just got to take the snap, go back 3 steps, and he's double clutching. He's got to get the ball out, put it somewhere only the receiver can get it. And honestly, I'd trade a couple more interceptions for him being a little bit more assertive with his throws.
I agree 100%.
Me too. I agree. So, we're talking a lot about the offense, obviously, and I think that that's fair. What about, to me, the defense, there's no pressure, Zorni, no pressure on these quarterbacks. We're letting guys like Case Keenum and, Trubisky sit back there for 5 or 6 seconds. And even though they're not Aaron Rodgers, if you let any NFL quarterback 5 or 6 seconds to throw the ball, they're going to find somebody, right?
Yes. It was, if you had all the, Trubisky being still pretty young, didn't maybe take as much advantage of it as he could have, but, he had all, he had a lot of time. And this defense is, there's a lot of new pieces but it's tough. There's not much room for error and on either side of the ball. But when you can't generate much up front, it makes it that much tougher on the secondary. I think the secondary, overall, could come around with, Shaquille looks like a good one and everything, but they need help back there. It all starts up front.
Sure. And it does. Now, I'm going to be a little bit of a because positivity is my thing, and I know people are calling for, get rid of Schottenheimer, get rid of Carroll, get rid of Schneider, get rid of everybody. The world stinks because we're 0-2. But if you had told me last year at the end of the year, schedule's going to come out, we're going to have 2 road games, 2 winnable road games, but they're going to be home openers for NFL teams, and one of them is going to be nationally broadcasted home opener, and we're going to lose by 7 points in both places, I'd probably be okay with that. I don't know. We're not okay with losing, but 2 7-point losses on the road. The road test is this week, right? At home, this is almost a have to win, isn't it?
Oh, it's definitely a must win. Teams that start 0-2 rarely make the playoffs. Teams that start 0-3 almost never do. Mm-hmm. But my issue with the first 2 games, if you told me that we lost those 2 games, it's like, okay, I get that. But my problem isn't so much that we lost, it's the way we lost. And we're running into a lot of the same problems that we had last year. And just as a stat, in the first 2 games of last season, Russell Wilson was sacked 6 times. After bringing in DJ Fluker, bringing in a new offensive line coach, bringing in a new offensive coordinator, and promising a return to the run-first offense, Wilson has now been sacked 12 times through the first few games of this season. I don't call that improvement.
Statistically,
not from an offensive standpoint, no.
Okay, statistically, you're right. But would you, do you look at this? I don't know, Will. You're right. Statistically, it's awful. But I don't know. Am I the only one that thinks the offensive line looks better than last year? Even now, like Russell's getting like 5 seconds to throw the ball in the pocket, and he's standing there and he's not throwing it. Is some of that on him a little bit?
Oh, absolutely. Some of it's he holds the ball too long.
So to me, we're talking about statistically the offensive line isn't any better. I guess you're right statistically, but I watch them and I'm seeing. For the first time in I don't know how many games I can remember, I actually see offensive linemen push defensive guys backwards. We never did that last year. Look, they're going down the field 2 or 3 or 4 yards. That never happened last year. I do feel like they're improved. I know it's not showing up statistically yet, but I just feel like they are.
Well, I think part of the problem with the offensive line is, and it was a rarity for us in the preseason that we actually got to start the same guys in almost all the games. Mm-hmm. Then we get into the regular season, bam, DJ Fluker's hurt. Yeah. And he's coming back now, bam. Ethan Posic's out, Justin Britt may be out. We haven't had a chance to start our starting offensive line. True. That doesn't help. But, there are a lot of things that just need to be improved. And we've new coaches, new schemes. Mm-hmm. Part of that's just going to take a while. But we need to see some improvement, and it's got to start on Sunday.
Yeah. New weapons on offense. There's no Jimmy Graham. Doug Baldwin's been out. Richardson's gone. Yeah. Russell's got to get used to these guys. He has a certain level of trust with Baldwin and Richardson. Is the plays they made for him. What he's got to do, and this goes back to what Will was talking about as far as getting rid of the ball and putting it in a place where only the receiver can get it. He has a couple of guys that are bigger than the guys he's had recently in the receiving corps with Brandon Marshall and then Brown also. They're guys
and Moore, David Moore too.
They don't have to create a lot of separation. He has to just throw it and trust that the guy can make the play on the ball because they've got the size to do it. Yeah. So, and that's not a luxury he's had before. It's an adjustment. Once he figures that out, I think it'll be a lot easier to mitigate the pass rush because he will be able to get the ball out faster. This is growing pains right now that we're going through. As far as the defense goes, there's no pass rush, no. And we're almost, in a way, taking advantage of that, which is a weird thing to say, because teams know that we're not going to get to the quarterback, so they're throwing it up a ton. And we're getting interceptions because of it in turnovers. Earl's got one. McDougal has a couple. I think Shaq had 2, didn't he? Last game?
2. Yeah. Yes, he did.
Yeah. So, we're getting to the ball, even if we're not getting to the quarterback. We just have to be able to find a way to capitalize on that, and we'll be fine. And when we first saw the schedule, we knew that it was going to be rough to start because all the road games at the beginning of the season. Once they get through these hurdles and figure things out, the last half of the season should be a lot more fun because they're going to be a better they're going to be better for it and be playing at home in front of the home crowd, and that'll be a huge advantage, I think.
Yeah, I do too.
I'm curious, really. I know it's the oldest topic, but I really am curious, if nothing else, if this season, if they just, give up on Infetti, and I mean, how much worse is the backup compared to him?
That's what,
Yeah, I agree.
I've been talking about that at work all week.
They have to see what we're seeing. I mean, no one is not seeing this.
I know they spend a high round. They're just stubborn because it's a high, but it's just he amounts to just being another whiff. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, but the problem is it hasn't just been Infetti. And you could replace Infetti with Fant, and even if Fant plays better than Infetti, there's still issues throughout the rest of the line.
I just think it just boils down to he's no longer worth the investment, I guess, really.
I don't think so either. You have to improve where you can, and like Will was just saying that even if Fant's better, it's not going to solve the problem. True, but you have to improve where you can, and if that's an improvement, do it. But on the flip side, Dennis was saying everybody in the world can see Infetti's trash, basically. But on the flip side of that argument, we don't see what Fant's doing on that side in practice.
True.
So we don't see what the coaches see in that regard. So
right. He might be all we have. You're right.
Yeah.
That's a scary thought.
Yes, it is.
All right. Well, let's put this madness behind us, and let's go to the 2-minute warning.
Holy shit, it's a 2-minute warning.
2-minute warning time, checking our posse prediction challenge. As always, I have a correction to make. Jose claimed they threw 3 screens last week. I'm not going to count that crap, but I trust him, so I'm going to add a point to Jose's score just because I trust him. All right. Now to this week. First on the scores, Tom nailed it. 17-24. It was 17-24. 5 points for Tom. Unbelievable.
Wow.
Matt and Dustin both said we'd score 17, so you each get 3 points. Prognostications, a point to Mike Pascal, who said the Bears would have more sacks than the Seahawks. Yeah, just a little. Also, a point to Tom. For the game ball, nobody. The team lost. We're not caring. The over and under was under. A point to Little Mo, a point to Mike Pascal, a point to Tommy. This week looks like this. Tom was 7. Matt 4. Dustin 3. Mike Pascal 2. Little Mo 1. Mark 1. And Jose 1, which was really last week. Meaning, after 2 games, our individual scores look like this. Tom was 7 in first place, followed by Mark Ty Turner with 4. Matt with 4. Dustin and Mike Pascal with 3, Will, Jose, Little Mo with 2, and Mark and I with 1. Meaning, as we go into this week...
Hey, we're all on the board.
We're on the board. Team 12, 18. Team Posse, 11. We're 7 down. Fellas. Yeah.
Already.
That's all right. We'll catch him. All right. So let's go to halftime.
Holy shit, it's halftime.
Coming up, a lot more show. How about them Cowboys? How about them home games? How about a win? All these answers and more just around the corner. But first, another award-winning edition of 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia. Coming up next.
You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show. A Seahawk Positivity production.
Yes, it's halftime, and welcome to another fun-filled edition of the best play-along Seahawk-themed trivia game show on the internet. It's time for 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia. And here's your host, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity. Yes, thank you, me, and welcome to another fine edition of 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia
of the world.
The game that tests the knowledge of both our posse and our listeners. Our contestants are the posse themselves, Dustin, Statsman, Mark, and Will. And here come the rules. So here's how the trivia game works. There'll be 2 rounds of questions. Each contestant answers 1 question each round. If they get it correct, they get 1 point. After 2 rounds of questions, there'll be a final trivia question worth 2 points. If there's a tie after that, then the tie players go on to a special secret overtime question where the winner becomes reigning 12-man Fan Jam Show Trivia Champion and also gets a prize chosen especially for them. As an added bonus to those listening on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel, the questions and possible answers will be displayed on your screen so you, the viewer and listener, can play along as well. If you do, please let us know how you did on the questions. Remember, there's no Googling, no phone a friend, and please, no wagering. However, there is a lifeline. Before taping this show, my 2 charming Seahawk fan children, Mosette and Little Mo, did take the quiz as well. If the contestants want to know what the kids said, they can ask that, but once and only once during the entire game show, and only in the first 2 rounds. Now let's get ready to play 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia. All right, y'all know the rules. No Googling, no phone a friend, no wagering for
What about
this.
Siri?
No Siri, no Alexa, no whatever other garbage that you want to cheat with. It's not
We've
happening.
never ruled out AI before. I just wanted to verify.
Well, any kind of help right now. You should have nothing. Put your phones down, nothing, unless you're using it to talk. All right. Dustin, we have 3 questions per round, obviously. You can ask the kids once over the 2 rounds. The topics are obviously the Cowboys and Dallas, and one of the 3 questions is not a football question. So, Dustin, 1, 2, or 3?
3.
All right. Mark, 1 or 2?
1.
Leads off. Will, 2?
I'll take 4.
Oh, sorry. You will
Nice
take
try.
2, and you will like it. Okay, here we go. Mark, you have a football question.
Oh, I guessed right. Okay.
Yeah, the last time the Seahawks beat the Cowboys in Seattle was 2012. That was the first win for Russell Wilson, by the way, if I'm not mistaken, 27-7. Who led the Seahawks in receiving yardage that day? Was it Anthony McCoy, Sidney Rice, or Golden Tate? How's that for a group? Anthony McCoy, Sidney Rice, or Golden Tate? Who led the Seahawks in receiving yardage? Dance!
Mike Rice and Tate.
McCoy, Rice, or Tate.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good law firm.
Come to McCoy, Rice, and Tate. They got me the money I needed.
Yeah, lawyers you'll like. Let's see. For the sake of keeping the show moving, I'm going to say
Why
McCoy.
would you want to do that?
Yeah, well, either that or I'm as sluggish as our offense. I'm going to go McCoy.
You're going where?
I'm going McCoy.
You're going McCoy. Little Mo also decided to go with McCoy. And Mosette went with Sidney Rice. You went with McCoy? Yeah! Look at that!
Oh, in the spirit of Matt, I swung and I actually connected.
You closed your eyes and it worked again.
It's still, the money line on this show is still plus 300 that I win this thing, but boy, that's off to a good start.
Well, hang on, because it just might happen. You might want to place those bets, and then
That
you have to pay
That
it.
was the game where Tate got that huge block on Sean.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it was.
Oh, I remember.
And then
A
pointed
rule
at his
changer.
name. Yeah.
You could have mixed up the names a little bit and went with McCoy's Golden Rice and had an Asian restaurant as well. Not just a law firm.
Nice. Nice. An Irish Japanese. McCoy's Golden Rights.
There you go.
Well, your question, unfortunately, is not a football question. I was kind of hoping Mark would get this one because I think Mark probably knows this. Mark, you remember the TV show Dallas from 1970s? Yeah. And of course, I'm starting the music early because it's so much fun. Of course, JR got shot on that show, and it was a big scandal all summer. Who shot JR? So, Will, my question is, on the 1980 TV show Dallas, who did shoot J.R. Ewing? Was it his brother, his sister-in-law, or his wife? Who shot J.R.? The kids weren't born yet, if that helps you, but they did answer.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with sister-in-law.
You're going to go with sister-in-law. The little Mo went with his wife. Mosette said, I hope it's his sister-in-law. You hope it's his sister-in-law. Yes!
Wow.
His
Nice.
sister-in-law.
I knew it was a woman. I just couldn't remember which one.
And it was interesting because that was before pre-internet, right? But my mother knew who was going to be because she had read in People magazine that lady who played the part was not renewed for her next season on Dallas. So she's like, she's the one who did it.
Mm.
Oh,
she was
very
right.
smart.
Yeah.
Nice. That's like Mrs. Columbo.
Mama Moses got it going on. Yeah.
And we've
okay.
never seen Mama Moses either, just
We
like
have-
Mrs.
Yeah.
Columbo.
Very true.
Interesting.
Very true. Dustin?
Yeah, here's where I screw things up and I don't get a point. So.
We're going to go back to that first time the Seahawks beat the Cowboys in Seattle game.
Okay.
How many times did the Seahawks sack Tony Romo in that game? 1, 2, or 3? How many times Tony Romo gets sacked? 1, 2, or 3?
Well, my heart says 3, so I'll go with 3.
The heart wants what the heart wants. And the heart wants 3. And Lil Mo said 1. Mosette said 2. You said 3. Nah. It's one. Only one time.
Of course it is.
All right. We go to round 2. It is Mark and Will with 1. Dustin with 0. Will, 4, 5, or 6?
I will take 4.
Will take 4. Mark?
I told you I wanted 4.
Yeah.
Number 5.
You did say that. Mark with 5. Dustin, 6 or 6?
6.
All right. 6 it is. Will, here's your question. How many times have the Seahawks been shut out by the Cowboys? How many times have the Seahawks been shut out by the Cowboys? Once, twice, or 3 times a lady? How many times have the Seahawks been shut out by the Cowboys? Once, twice, or 3 times?
You know, the scary thing is when you first started saying once, twice, I was going, oh, lady, myself. So
see, and you know what that means? That means I have sung something in every episode so far. Aren't you lucky?
That's one word for it.
Yeah. 1, 2, or 3. How many times have the Seahawks been shut out by the Cowboys? Good trivia
question for those following at home.
Yeah.
I can only think of one, so I'm going to go with once.
He could only think of one. When was that one you thought of?
Way back in the day.
Way back in the day. You said 1. Little Mo said 2. Mosette said 3. You said 1. Yeah, it's 1. The wonderful season, Will, of 1992. How could we forget?
Oh.
The wonderful 2 and 14 of 1992. Yes, like it was yesterday. Dear. Yeah, shut up at the Cowboys that year.
That's why I don't get so depressed about what the Seahawks are doing now. Because exactly. I remember 92 and 93 and 94.
Yeah. Oh, the whole night. Yeah, best 8 team league. Yeah.
I don't remember much of any of those years, but it was rough football.
You didn't miss anything, Mark.
You didn't miss anything, Mark.
Yeah, it's like Duff beer just makes the days fly by.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, Mark, you probably won't remember this thing because this is about a movie called The Cowboy Way.
Ooh, who's in it?
Well, I would tell you, but I've forgotten because I looked it up and I realized it was a very forgettable movie called The Cowboy Way.
Wasn't it Woody Harrelson?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who sang the title song for the 1994 film The Cowboy Way? Was it Garth Brooks, Willie Nelson, or Travis Tritt? Who sang the title song for the 1994 film The Cowboy Way? Garth Brooks, Willie Nelson, or Travis Tritt?
Pantera.
Brooks, Nelson, or Tritt?
Yeah.
Oh boy. You know what? I'm gonna go Tritt.
He was popular around then. That's around when TROUBLE came out.
I'm gonna go Tritt, he says. One of my favorite title songs. Here's a quarter who's called Someone Who Cares. Yeah, that's it. Okay, both kids said Travis Tritt as well. It must be the name. You went with Tritt? Yes!
Nice. Oh my God.
Travis.
Wow.
This is a miracle.
I know, he was pretty popular back then.
Well, next week, Dennis, one trivia question has to be, when was the last time Mark got 2 questions in a row correct? 0, 0,
Man,
or 1?
I tell you what, it's the sign of the apocalypse. The Browns won Thursday. You got 2 right tonight. Oh my gosh. Who knows what's going to happen this weekend?
Oh dear. Dogs and cats living together.
I know. I'll think Ghostbusters too. Yeah, that's a sign, all right. We're going out of business.
All right, Dustin. Are you ready? Here's a football question.
Ready as I'm going to be.
Yours is about the playoff game in 2007 between the Seahawks and the Cowboys. I believe that's when Tony Romo. Yeah. And then when Tony muffed the kick, I believe.
Yep.
I think so.
How many times was Matt Hasselbeck sacked in that game? 0, 1, or 2? How many times did they sack Hasselbeck? 0, 1, or 2? And
I don't believe he was sacked at all.
You say not at all.
Wow, calling the shot.
Man, and he says it with great confidence. Mosette said 0. And Little Mo said 2, but you very confidently said 0. Yeah, 0. He wasn't sacked. Interesting. All right. Well, gentlemen, I believe that we have reached the end of the trivia, which means it is time for the final question. Here's how you play the final question. It is a high-low. Whoever's closest without going over gets the 2 points and will become 12-Man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia champion of episode 609. So, the order will be this. Dustin will go first. Will go second, and Mark will clean it up. Because that's what Mark does. He cleans it up. Are you gentlemen ready?
After Maroon 5. Sorry.
All right. Here we go, Dustin.
Yeah.
Your final question is about the that 2012 game where we beat the Cowboys. Seahawks beat the Cowboys.
Okay.
So in that game between the Seahawks and the Cowboys in 2012 in Seattle, how many net passing yards did the Seahawks have for that game? How many net passing yards did they have for that game? So that would be obviously the passing yards minus the sack yardage. But what was the net passing yards for that game?
I don't remember there being a ton. I will say 140.
140. Will, how many net passing yards for that game?
In the spirit of all the liquor I drank last Monday night, I'm going to say 151.
That's beautiful.
140, 151, Mark. What net passing yards did the Seahawks have in that game against the Cowboys in 2012?
Well, again, in the spirit of Matt, I got to go 152.
140, 151,
Oldest
152.
one in the book.
The amount of net passing game, the yards in that game for the Seahawks against the Cowboys in 2012 was 133.
Oh.
Someone
Nice.
control
Oh.
the man,
I guessed wrong
the
again.
Thundercat man that is Dustin.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah,
Back to back, Dustin.
Hell yeah.
I would have won this thing too if it weren't for those Mendeling Thundercat kids.
Nice.
I will for Matt here, I'm going to cancel the trophy for Mark, and I will send it to Dustin. Congratulations, Dustin.
Thanks, guys. I just want to thank
133.
everybody who scored less points than me for being a part of this. Without you, I couldn't win, so thank you.
Fewer points. Fewer.
Yes, that as well.
Yes, congratulations. My goodness, what an amazing award-winning and crowd-pleasing, heart-stopping edition of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia.
Other world.
We'll be right back with the second half of this show with everything you need to know about the Cowboys and the Seahawks. But right now, Thundercats, take us out of here.
You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show, a Seahawk Positivity production.
I'm surrounded by idiots! Idiots!
Holy shit, it's the third quarter.
Hey, welcome to the third quarter of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show. Hey, you! Yes, you, still bearing down, whatever the hell that means. Like, share, and subscribe to the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel. Join us on our Facebook at 12-Man Fan Jam Show. Join us, download us on iTunes, download us on Podbean. Do all that. Do it now before they talk about Khalil Mack again. Oh, man, too late. They did. All right. It's time to get ready for a brand new quarter 3 segment as we examine the Cowboys and Seahawks. And we take a look at the Cowboys. We have a new segment called 12-Man Fan Jam Show. Say what? Here's how this works. I have found actual, real quotes by someone that I consider, well, a little odd. In this case, it is none other than Dallas Cowboy owner Jerry Jones. So I'm going to reveal some what I feel are rather interesting quotes that have, according to multiple press reporters, been actually said to the press by Jerry Jones himself during press conferences. So these are real quotes. I did not make any of this up. They were not made up by me. I'll let you decide if they're odd or not. But he is a very strange man when it comes to talking about football players. Here's the first one. When he was asked about Felix Jones, you remember Felix Jones was a running back for the Cowboys, and he was asked at a press conference. Jerry was asked about whether or not Felix Jones could be an every down back or just a scat back. Jerry said, and I quote, "He's got one of them nice bubble butts." That he said that a bubble butt. Yeah, Felix Jones got one of them nice bubble butts.
I think he'd probably look better in a thong than say what? Boxers.
yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Another one. Jerry supposedly, when asked by a reporter how Troy Aikman was progressing from an injury, Jerry said, "All I can say right now is he looks good in the shower."
Say what?
Say what?
These are real. I did not make these up.
Oh dear.
Okay, this is not fictional. All I can say right now is that he looks good in the shower. That's Jerry actually said that. Jerry's response to how close the NFL owners and players were to ending the lockout in 2011 was, "We're down to circumcising mosquitoes."
Say what?
We're down to circumcising mosquitoes. Now, I looked it up, and unfortunately, there's actually nowhere you can find how big the genitalia of mosquitoes are, but mosquitoes themselves, on average, are about 1.5 inches long. So you can take from that what you want. But, yeah, we're down to circumcising mosquitoes. And then...
That's got to be a saying down there.
Yeah, it's a saying somewhere. I same with Bubble Butt, and he looks good in the shower.
Man, Matt would be having a field day right now.
He would. But of course, the last one I opened the show with, so if you missed the opening of the show, I don't know why you would skip through the opening, but this is he's at a press conference. This is recorded for posterity. Maybe Jerry Jones' strangest quote ever. Here we go.
I, too, have been here 23 years. And it is a reminder, I've been here when it was glory hole days, and I've been here when it wasn't. And so having said that, I want me some glory hole.
Now, Jerry wants some glory hole, and I don't know if Jerry's ever
Not that
Googled
there's
glory
anything
hole.
wrong with that.
Probably stopping at the wrong gas stations.
You probably shouldn't be Googling glory hole. If you're wondering what that is, just trust us.
Especially if you're not at work.
It's not what he thinks it is.
I think it's the one thing he forgot to include at the stadium. So maybe that's why he's so, so upset.
Left it out in plans.
Yeah, so that was the first ever 12-man Fan Jam Show edition of Say What?
Say what?
Featuring Jerry Jones. All right. Thank you very much. Now let's see who is healthy on these two teams by turning to our own Dr. Dustin with the 12-man Fan Jam Show injury report. Dr. Dustin, tell us the news.
Doctor, give me the news. Doctor.
All right, so out the gate here, we'll get the Seahawks that are out. We know Doug Baldwin's out. He's still dealing with his good knee, having an issue. He is running around. Pete said he was doing change of direction stuff, and they're not sure when he's going to be back, but he's getting better, so there's progress there. Ethan Posick hurt his ankle. He is out. He did it during the game last week and then toughed it out, but he's not playing this week. KJ Wright had a setback. He was expected to play earlier in the week. Now he's not. So that's unfortunate, but KJ is gone. Questionable is Justin Britt. He's a game-time decision. He hurt his shoulder last week. And then Michael Kendricks, or as I call him, Martha, just hurt his his ankle in practice this week. He was limited in, we're not sure if he's going to be there or not. I have one more player for the Hawks. I'll get back to that in a minute. The Cowboys are missing one of their defensive tackles, Malik Collins. He has a knee. He hurt it last week. He's out. Their center, Travis Frederick, is still out. He's got an illness. He was recently diagnosed with, I'm not sure how you pronounce this. I believe it's Guillain-Barré syndrome.
Yes.
That's a pretty scary one. It's where somehow your immune system decides to attack your nerves, and that can cause your joints and everything to lock up, causing paralysis. There's no known cure. You can get it from, if you have an infection, a lot of times that precedes it. It's pretty scary stuff. Comes out of nowhere, apparently.
Yeah.
And then their questionables are safety Xavier Woods. He's got a hamstring, so even if he's out there, he might be a little gimpy. Fine. Cole Beasley hurt his ankle in practice this week. That's fine. Less targets they have, the better, as far as I'm concerned. And then Sean Lee has a hamstring issue as well. Again, he'll be gimpy if he's in there, which is nice because they like to show those stats every freaking time the Cowboys play, how good the defense is when he's in there and how much they suffer when he's out. So hopefully he's out because I'm not a fan of him. I was a fan of the Golden Tate hit on him.
Oh,
that
yes,
was awesome.
we all were. Yes, we all were.
That's what's going on with the Cowboys. But back to the Seahawks, we did have a did not practice player a couple times this week, and that would be Earl Thomas. Last report on him was he was on the sidelines dealing with personal issues and wearing a visor. Nobody knows what any of that means. Don't know if he's going to play, but he wasn't participating. So we got to wait and see what happens with that.
Both sides have at this point that we air this show, that we record this show, which is a Friday night before the game, both sides have vehemently denied a trade rumor. Because obviously, here come the Cowboys, and now all of a sudden he has a personal issue. And I'll let you guys speak in a minute. What I'm going to say is, these players are human, and sometimes they do have personal issues. And if he really truly has a personal issue, then I wish him the best and I hope everything's okay. If his personal issue is the size of his contract, I have a little bit of issue with that, because if you've always going to do all year is complain about that, then we probably need to cut bait at this point. But if he truly, really has a personal issue or family issue or whatever, I wish him the best, and I hope certainly that it gets taken care of. And that is obviously going to supersede football at any time. But I guess it's just a wait and see. I don't know. Will, what are your thoughts?
Well, my first thought when I heard the news was that there is a trade in the works, and there might be.
Yeah.
And frankly, if we keep losing games, I think that's the way to go. We need to get draft capital for next year rather than hang on to Thomas for the rest of this year when it's looking like a bad year anyway. But, we just got to see. I could see a scenario where both sides kind of had a wink, wink, nudge, nudge deal in place, and Dallas doesn't want him to get hurt before he gets traded there. I could see it being something completely unrelated, and hopefully he plays and maybe plays out the year here. I don't know. I mean, with Thomas, I thought he was going to hold out long into the regular season, and then he showed up in time for week 1. So if he plays, great. If not, we'll have to deal with it.
Yeah. Zorni, your thoughts?
Well, yes, and of course, as you mentioned, if something going on, then of course that's more important than dealing with whatever. The thing that's most concerning to me is that he's wearing a visor. I don't understand.
Fair point.
The only one I've seen to this, up to now do that is Gruden. Gruden has brought the visor back.
Well, Spurrier. Remember, Spurrier was the big visor guy. He still is, I think.
We killed.
Yeah, but that was Spurrier.
That kills me. That guy beat us twice, I think, as a Redskin coach. That is embarrassing.
Spurrier always looked to me like when he wore his visor, he looked like some old female golfer. I always thought, just when he had that visor on, he looked like some old female golfer trying to line up a putt. But
Benson Hedges. I don't know. Anyway, well, like we were talking about this a little bit earlier, and according to the anonymous source or sources, players on the team, that he's going to play Sunday. So that's encouraging.
Yeah, we'll see. Like I said, we'll have to see. Dustin, any final thoughts on Earl there?
Yeah, I'm 100% certain he's going to play on Sunday. We'll see what team, but he plays for.
There you go.
Yeah,
nicely delivered.
Yeah, he'll be there. I don't know. He's a weird dude, and you saw when he broke his leg, he was talking about retirement.
Yeah.
So he doesn't need to practice to go out there and play. He's already proved that when he came back first week of the season. So to me, he's just an odd dude. He's unique, and if he's got something going on, he might be just trying to get around his own head. That might be the personal issue, and I wouldn't be a bit surprised. And it helps too if he's not practicing in a way, because it keeps his body fresh. He's a vet, and then at the same time it gives Cedric Thompson some reps with the first team, so he's ready to go in case Earl, for whatever reason, can't get into game, ready to play mentally or whatever. So I mean, it is what it is. If he's there, he's there. If he's not, he's not. I'm not gonna be upset one way or the other. It's just a weird situation.
It really is. So we wish him the best if it's personal. So we'll just leave it there. Thank you, Dr. Dustin. Now let's take a look at the weather. It's going to be for the game, where we usually turn to a guy living in Europe, but this week we turn to a guy living in Indiana, and that's me. It's time for the 12-Man Fan Jam Show Weather and Fashion Report with Moses. Oh, Moses!
It's raining man.
Why, yes, thank you, me. Here's the Weather and Fashion Report with me, Moses. Well, fall is here, and for you Seattleites, you know what that means. Well, pretty much the same dreary weather you're used to. But anyway, Sunday's kickoff should be about 60 degrees Fahrenheit, which I think is like, I don't know, minus 27 and 3/5 degrees Celsius or something. I don't know, man. The metric system ain't American, baby, so I don't care. 15% chance of rain, and about a 50% chance that if Zeke wears his half shirt in warm-ups, he might be a little nippy out there. Also, 65% chance that if Jerry Jones comes to the game, he'll be in a parka, because anytime the temp dips below 65 degrees in Texas, they issue a freeze warning and put chains on the Ford pickups. All right. As for fashion, it's the Cowboys. And I'm sure Matt, if Matt were here, would make some comment about wearing assless chaps and cowboy hats and all that stuff. Well, not me. The only way to go to any Seahawk game is wearing a Seahawk jersey, name and number your option, a Seahawk hat or wig or headdress or whatever you want, and yell until you lose your voice when the Seahawks are on defense. Please, because we need you. And that is your fashion and weather report. All right, now the guy that always has our number, the man with the numbers and the tokens all around him. It is time for Statsman and Mark and the 12-man Fan Jam show by the numbers for our game and maybe a couple of teasers. Mark!
Ricky don't lose that number. Ricky don't lose that number. Ricky don't lose that number.
Yes, well. Yes. No. Anyway, let's see. So, hello. I swear.
This thing working?
Is this thing on?
Hello? Wait a minute.
I swear
Line!
I swear I had time to prepare. So, I had the numbers. And let's see, last week, first we'll recap last week. Not a great week, so it was a good week to fade me. That could be a trend. I had Philadelphia -3. I bet on that in Tampa, and of course they lost outright.
Yes.
I had the Giants. Here's blind faith. Giants plus a field goal in Dallas. That didn't work out so well. But the one that did work out, and this is where it comes into play because of a tie. I had Minnesota +1, so it was a winning ticket on a tie football game.
Nice.
And for the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle is, and this is a sign of the times compared to years ago, we are a 1-point favorite.
Whoa!
Over the Dallas Cowboys under 43.5. You realize back not so long ago, coming off a loss, we returned home. I mean, we were, I don't know what the streak was, and we usually would win by 17 points.
Yeah, right.
I am not so sure what's going to happen this week. But I'm at -1, so anyway.
That's funny.
And 43.5, so.
What are your teasers this week?
Oh, yes. Oh, I'm sorry. I was about to skip my own segment. Okay.
Yeah.
So, the remaining, for week 3, I have Carolina beating the hot Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, how often does this happen? That since he's on a roll. But I have Carolina -3. I have Atlanta making the Saints 0-3 and beating the Saints in Atlanta, and that's a 3-point Atlanta number. And then I'm taking to just pile on the drama and the soap opera that is the Pittsburgh Steelers. My goodness.
Yeah.
I am taking the Tampa Bay Bucks. Great. Dude, Ryan Fitzpatrick just rocks. That photo of him, I am sold.
He does.
I'm taking in the heat and humidity. I'm taking or actually that's the night game. Anyway, regardless, I'm taking the stylish Fitzpatrick and 1.5 points. So that really does me much good. They're going to beat the Steelers. I love it.
You know that picture. I wish
such a great photo.
Oh my God.
He looks like he just got caught smuggling vibranium out of Wakanda.
Well, no, what he looks like
Wakanda
is he
forever.
looks like, we almost did it, but it's a visual gag for the CSI The News. Remember we used to do that at CSI The News? And say, hey, Fitzpatrick, what about that interception? Oh, I just wanted the other team to have a little taste.
Nice.
Right? I mean, that's what it looked like. I mean, that's so awesome, that picture. He was so funny.
He looked like Conor McGregor.
Yeah, he did. He did.
There's a story on that. They compared the two pictures and stuff. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it was. All right. Thank you, Mark.
Yes, sir.
Quick disclaimer, those numbers have been presented for entertainment purposes only. 12-Man Fan Jam Show does not endorse betting on anything at any time. Please don't take anything we ever say on this show seriously.
Entertainment purposes, because my picks may end up being laughable. So we'll see if they pay off.
We will see. But in the meantime, let's end the third quarter.
It's the end of the third quarter, bitches.
All right, coming up next, it's our predictions, prognostications, and game balls for the Cowboys game. You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show. We are your pregame glory hole. We'll be right back after this.
Oh, dear.
Thanks.
Hello, everybody. This is Statsman Mark. And when I'm not listening to Charo's greatest hits on 8-track tape, I'm listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show.
Holy shit, it's the fourth quarter.
Oh, yes, jolly good. Welcome to the fourth and final quarter of this episode of the 12-Man Fan Jam Show. That was off. I don't even know what the hell that was. What accent was that? That wasn't even English. I don't
Drunk.
know. Yeah.
It could be, yeah.
Anyway, let's move on. In this quarter, this is when we take all the information that we just had and we add much other useful information and make our predictions, prognostications, and game balls for the upcoming game between your Seattle Seahawks and the Dallas Cowboys. It's time for the picks. Let's start with Team 12. Jose, prognostication, ET gets an interception. Game ball to Russell Wilson. 2 touchdowns for Russell. Hawks win 23-16. Tom, who crushed it last week. Okay, well, here we are with our home opener, and another defensive line I don't know if Ifedi can stand up to. I think Shoddy will use the run and quick passing game to keep Russ upright. Dallas has a suspect secondary, and I think we can take advantage of it. And our run defense has to be stout against a talented offensive line and great running back. Score 30-20 Hawks. Disley over 100 yards receiving is his prognostication and game ball to Uncle Will. Congratulations, Will. Will Harrison got a game ball. No, I think it's Disley. Little Mo, 24-17 Seahawks. Game ball to Wagner. Wagner gets an interception. Mark Ty Turner on time this time. That Monday night game was horrendous, but with most of the defense out, I kind of expected it. Now our linebackers are back. Well, that didn't happen. And we'll prevail against the Cowgirls. Seahawks 20, Cowboys 10. Game ball to Carson. Russell will get sacked 5 times. It's just our reality. That is his pronunciation.
That is going to be the pick of the week all season long.
Mike Pascal. Okay, first win at home with the 12s. Seahawks 23, Dow Ass 13 with 2 S's at the end. Prediction, Carson has more yards than Penny. Game ball to Shaq. Now Team Posse, Matt. Right! Butts have been kicked, apologies by coaches have been made, and Carson is still gassed. So, score will be Seahawks 24, Dallas 20. Game ball, something's going to click for Russell. Flashes of calm brilliance, but I'm going to give it to Big Willie Disley. Prognostication, Disley is going to make a big home debut with 2 touchdowns. Well!
Where?
Hi. There. How are you, bud?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I always love talking to you every week. It's always fun.
Oh, I thank you. You're just saying that, aren't you?
Well, partially. Because it's being recorded. Hey, do you have a score for us and a prognostication and game and all that whatnot?
I do. I think Seattle wins a nail-biter 20-17.
Ooh, okay.
My prognostication is our pass rush actually starts getting going a little bit, and we get 3 or more sacks.
Ooh.
And I will give my game ball to Russell Wilson because I think he's going to bounce back a little bit and have a good game and overcome Dallas's defense.
You know, he had a couple rough games. That first game was kind of rough. Last game was kind of rough, but I felt like the second game was better than the first one. So I think we're going the right way.
Here's hoping.
Yeah, we're moving west.
Yeah.
Get back home.
Statsman Mark. How are you, Mark?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
How's you live down Mark lives down the street from 49er headquarters. How's enemy lines tonight?
Well, Garoppolo peeking out my window, he has another porn star over, so it's I guess promising depending how you look at it.
Yeah. Maybe Stormy Danielson. Who knows?
So with our game, what I did to come up with my score is that I went back to the glory days, the days of the team, and I'm adding the 12th man. I'm adding 12. Russell Wilson's 3, and then our punters, Dixon is number 4. Is that it? Because he's going to be
right. Yes.
So it's going to be 19 if I did my California public school math correctly. That's 19, and we're going to keep the Cowboys out of the end zone. It's going to be 19-15 Seahawks.
Wow.
And we are going to hold Zeke to under 100 yards rushing. And did you see how I went out on a limb with that one, just like Team 12, with Carson having more rushing yards than Penny? Anyway.
Someone will win the coin toss.
Yeah. Well, Dennis is an SNL guy. It's like, I suspect the team with the most points will probably win this football game.
They'll pull this thing out. I think you're right.
So my game ball is going to go to Earl Thomas because he'll play. He's going to be fired up. and he's going to have 2 interceptions.
Oh, wow.
So,
Okay.
Earl Thomas is...
That's a little extra there, right?
What did I say?
Well, you said Elliott's going to have less than 100 yards rushing. That's your prognostication. The 2 INTs is just kind of...
You're right. We'll stick
just to show off a little bit, yeah.
I'm rooting for Thomas. So
I think we all are.
I loved Lamp, and I added an extra pick.
Are you just saying prognostications now, just at everything, Mark?
Well, I just got to take a page. We all have to take a page out of Team 12's book, because they're going so far out on a limb with.
They are. Oh, look, trash talk! Listen to this.
My prognostication: the game will be 60 minutes long.
Oh, I'll take that.
Watch,
the
it goes to overtime,
goal line will be 100 yards this week.
The Seahawks will wear uniforms. Dustin, how you doing, Dustin? I'm glad you had the new house, the new place, and the new floor, and all that. Whatever you got new, I'm glad it's working out.
Thanks. Oh, we also painted this week. Whole house is painted.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
You're
lots
crazy.
of stuff going on.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Did you got time to make a prediction and all that craziness?
I did. Okay. I'm going to say Hawks 27. Get the offense going a little bit. Dallas 17. I'm going to say Bobby Wagner's going to have a turnover. I don't know if it'll be a fumble recovery or an interception, but turnover.
I like it.
And I'm sticking with Chris Carson with this game ball thing until he gets it, because I really want the running game to work.
You did that before, I think. Somebody you did. Yeah, I kept using them until it happened.
Yep.
Yeah.
And my other prognostication is that the warm-ups will be before the game this week.
Oh, warm-ups before the game. That's a point. No, I'm kidding.
Yep.
All right.
Absolutely.
Well, it's my turn. Seahawks return home after a brutal start of the schedule that resembled, the last couple years, really. Starting slow is nothing new to this team. Their start out of the gate is like a racehorse that's too busy posing for picks than actually leave the gate when it opens. But hopefully this horse will quickly get back in the race. It isn't going to be easy, though. Starting at home against a Cowboys team who tells us all the time they're America's team. Well, in a way they are. I mean, like America, their leader is an egomaniacal, crazy old rich guy who followers wish would never speak in public. Meanwhile, one of their stars, running back Ezekiel Elliott, who, when not looking like an escaped Ewok from Star Wars set, runs around in half shirts and short shorts, making himself look like an extra in the Wesley Snipes Patrick Swayze drag film To Wong Fu Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar. Look it up, kids. Here's a reference for you. Wow. I'm Ezekiel with 3 Z's. I'm Ezekiel on the street and a Zeke in the sheets, baby, okay?
Oh, God.
Then there's the next Troy Aikman / Tony Romo / Roger Staubach, Dak Prescott, who probably just wishes everyone would just stop making statues of him and just let him play football. All this aside, Seahawks need to win badly. They need to get their first win, and they need to show that this will not be a long season, and perhaps more importantly, they need to avenge the last time the Cowboys came to town. See, the last time the Cowboys came into Seattle, the Seahawks lost 23-30, and that is a monumental moment in Casa Moses, because that was the very first home game ever for my son, Little Mo. So for Little Mo, this one has to be personal. Watch the Seahawk defense score a defensive touchdown. That's my prognostication. Watch my game ball Bobby Wagner show why he is still the best middle linebacker in football. And watch the Seahawks avenge Little Mo as they win by a score of Seattle Seahawks 31, Dallas Cowboys 20. How about them Seahawks? Book it. Deal with it. Live with it. All right. Well, it's time to look at the clock, and I guess we need to bring another wonderful and amazing 12-man Fan Jam show to a close. We're glad you decided to waste some time with us. We certainly hope you laughed a little, and maybe you just learned a little something. We learned a lot tonight, folks. We learned what there is to do in Buffalo, which apparently is each other. When to put the money down and make a good quality bet. We learned that Maroon 5 makes Mark dizzy. I'm sorry, Mark.
My head is spinning.
Yeah, we learned that old receiver names make great law firm names. Spurrier looks like an old lady when he wears a visor. Garoppolo loves porn stars. And, of course, we learned Jerry Jones still wants his glory hole. And we also learned don't Google glory hole. So on behalf of my partner in crime, Matt, our news hound, Shadowhawk Will, Statsman Mark, Dustin as the Beaver, Mike Pascal, Roger Goodell, Mozette, Little Mo, Hollywood Henderson, Jose, Mark Ty Turner, Ed Too Tall Jones, Tom Lucas, Roger Staubach. This is Moses saying until next time, Go Hawks!
Go Hawks! Go Hawks!
I wish someone would just give Jerry his glory hole and then he would shut up. Yes?
Yes.
Yeah.